Yep.
And a good day, ladies and gentlemen. And today we have Gavin Daniels, or I call him Cali Power. We have Brandon Driftbrat Steele. And then we have Christian Alcantara, aka Peanut. I'm glad to have you all. I'm glad to see, except Brandon, who hasn't made it to this cup. And we're here basically to discuss and have some discussions about sim racing in Trinidad and Tobago and esports on the whole. You know, a lot of people have a couple of questions on that, and I'm gonna basically start off with the most common questions a lot of the older folks talk about. You know, they say, the sim racing isn't real. You know, it isn't real racing, and I don't think that sim racing was ever claimed to be, or people claim it to be, real racing. But I mean, is it something that you consider a real competitive sport? Is the real question. Anybody wants to chime in on that one?
Well, I don't think you could deny that it is competitive just based on the
Definitely.
last tournament alone, right? Real, of course, is not real. It's a virtual thing. It's a virtual environment. The consequences are not like in real life. But I mean, if you take it seriously and you treat it the way you would a real scenario with real cars, yeah, I think it's one of the most competitive things you could ever be involved in.
I agree. I think it's a very competitive sport. It's considered one of the esports. We have a young and upcoming Christian Alcantara, Peanut. What do you think about sim racing as a sport? Do you think it's something that you could continue seeking as a sport, and is it something, a hobby, a video game, in other words?
Definitely, I could definitely see sim racing getting to a higher level on the esports platform to reach a much greater audience. So we could actually have competitions locally, globally, whatever, people at home racing. Same way how we have our competitions currently. I definitely see it could reach that platform. Currently, the support from my father, so I'm getting a lot of support from him. He gets excited when I'm racing, always telling me, take this line, kick down, let me go, let me go. So I definitely have the support here.
Thanks. Brandon, yeah, what do you think about, same question. What do you think about it as a legitimate sporting platform?
Yeah, I could see it being a good platform for racing because it's basically like one-time payments. Is not like real life. We always have to be spending thousands of dollars every race meet. Worst yet, if somebody hit your car, you hit somebody, that's real money coming out your pockets.
Yeah.
In this game, if somebody bonks me and get me vexed, I bonks in the back of the truck. I'll take my penalty. So yeah, I can see it moving forward. I like to take it with a certain amount of seriousness because I love racing and I have a serious passion for it. So when I race, I try to be as serious as possible and try to think about real life scenarios as much as possible while I racing. So if it is people are interested in motorsports and they don't want to have the high expense, there are great lobbies that you can go in to get basically the same kind of excitement or close enough to that you will get in real life.
No, I agree. I think sim racing is great from the point of very few people get the opportunity to drive a GT3 car, a prototype car, or even a lot of these exotic cars on the whole. And sim racing gives a community together, a group community, to drive all of these exotic cars and to get to, in some form, experience it together. And I think it's great. And I think it forms a great, community. Now, for those who want to join into sim racing, what do you think is a good way to start getting into the sim racing platform? Gavin?
Naturally, make a choice on a sim. I recommend Gran Turismo because it's not really a hardcore sim. You know what I mean? It's not like Assetto Corsa
iRacing.
and iRacing. Yeah, exactly. And especially iRacing is very expensive. You make one purchase for Gran Turismo, it could be a controller like a Brandon. You can't touch Brandon on a controller, and that's all you have. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You continue that, and as you progress, if the interest is there, then you go into, you know, what wheel you want. Start off with simple stuff, T150s. I have the Logitech setup here right now, also have the Fanatic. You have options. And yeah, it's just about getting it, getting a feel for it, seeing if you like it, and take it from there.
Brandon, you want to expand on that as well?
Well, I'm a die-hard Gran Turismo man, so I would say go Gran Turismo.
You ain't going nowhere else.
Nah, I die-hard Gran Turismo man. I will try the Assetto Corsa, but I think I will be sticking to the Gran Turismo. But to get into the sim racing, as he said, as Daniel said, it doesn't really take that much. Once it is you know which platform you want to go with, you just stick with it and you could always improve. And for example, if it is you buy the steering wheel, you try to buy a good one time and that should last you a good couple years.
Right.
So, yeah.
What about equipment? Like I see, well, we all know and we heard already that Brandon is the controller man. Do you think wheel and pedal is definitely the next step, or is something that is recommended you should do if you get into sim racing?
For me, well, I use it for basically the knowledge and to apply the same principles, or basically the same principles that you'll be using in real life situations in the game. So therefore we transfer throttle control, trail braking. So I use it more for mental state rather than the physical driving aspect with using the wheel. So that's just my preference. That's why I prefer to use the controller.
Okay,
Peanut?
I'll definitely say, and I stand by this. You could start off with the controller, get a hang of it, see how it is, and then I'll recommend that if you really want to follow sim racing and push it more than a hobby, to start off with a wheel and well jump straight into the fire and get accustomed to that. However, if you're just looking at it as a hobby, you could start off with the controller, stay to the controller, and then in time, you want to up the experience, so you upgrade to a wheel. So just have it to say, hey, I know how to do this.
Gavin, you want to add anything in that one?
Well, I think is really a choice. Is what both of them are correct. Is what you want. Is really what you want. I know guys who are fast on both. Of course, most people that real quick will be on the wheel, but for the guys who know people from FIA races and the Grand Tour events, the World Tour events, sorry, guys like Fire, they are on controller and they I mean they be top in the world. They're always in the top 10, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's an option. It's just a preference, whichever one you want to go.
You want to give us a quick ideas and thoughts on your thoughts on how was the experience in the Latin American Porsche Cup, representing Trinidad as basically our first sim racing champion. And to those who don't know, Gavin has won Trinidad and Titasa's first sim racing tournament, and he represented Trinidad for the Porsche Latin America Cup and finished fifth. He made a lot of us very, very proud in the sim racing community. So yeah, Gavin, any thoughts on how that went and how that was for you?
The experience itself was really good. I had no real like going into it. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, especially when you're looking at the other guys involved. Chara, I think from the start, the kid from Peru.
Yeah.
From the start, I knew that well he was my top pick to win. Right. I was a bit disappointed, especially at the start. I had a terrible start. I haven't had a lot of those lately. But losing my connection with the top four was pretty much the end of the race. I had to just try to come back to fifth. But overall, I was really proud to represent the country and bring awareness to everybody else. I was there as a representative, and that's the main thing. As long as the world knows now, at least Latin America does, that there are people in Trinidad and Tobago who do this and who could do it at a high level. That's the main thing I take away from that whole experience.
Do Do you think we're in a position, Trinidad, as in, do you think we're almost in a position to actually start forming our own esports teams for sim racing? Do you think it's time?
Definitely. This is something I was hoping that you would get behind as well, and maybe push some guys into to forming a team. Christian, Lio, who has really developed in a very short space of time quickly. Dominic Charles, of course, but he is part of a team already. So am I. So is Brandon. So I'm not sure how it will work out, but I would definitely like to be a part of that. Something locally, a group that we could call our own and take it to the world. You know. So yeah, that is something I would really want to support and get behind.
So another question we have right now is, Brandon, what other games you play other than sim racing? You have any other games?
Well, we used to play Grand Theft, but it started messing with my eyes when I'm playing Gran Turismo. Something with the gameplay. So the only game I play in is Gran Turismo. I don't play any other game really.
Right.
Yeah.
Peanut, you play any other games other than Gran Turismo?
Yes, I do actually. One of my friends introduced me to Call of Duty Warzone recently, so as a brain cooler after Gran Turismo, I jump on for a little while and call it quits.
Gavin, you want to add in another one? You play anything other than racing at all?
Other than racing, yeah, the PlayStation one was the one that I see now. I can't remember them offhand. Assetto, well, as racing as well. There's something else I was playing recently. I can't remember what it is.
So it kind of sounds like you're pretty much a sim racing guy.
Most times, yeah. I'm gonna put on my PlayStation now when I want that question.
But while that is going on, let me ask you a next question now. What is actually an endurance a race? So can you please describe to us what is actually an endurance race in sim racing? What do you consider, if you're explaining, what's the difference between a sprint race and an endurance race?
I have run races for 2 hours at Spa, or 90 minutes at Yamagiwa. So 1.5 hours to 2 hours is the longest I've gone. But we both know people have gone longer. Look at GT, Super GT streams, stuff like that. But yeah, for me, without being uncomfortable, 2 hours will be the longest I would go, and it will have to include fuel and tire wear, of course. Tire changes should be realistic. These settings should be realistic. I would consider even after the final 50 Tasa, that was a sprint. That's short. I compare it to other races I've done, and that's short, and I'm sure other people will agree too. But yeah, it has to be 1 hour 90 minutes or more.
Agreed. Peanut, you have any ideas on that one?
I'll agree. Well, I'll agree with Gavin on that there are a lot longer races than what we would usually run in competitions. I personally have not run any 2 hour long races. Maximum probably was anywhere from a half an hour up. That, well, I would agree on the settings if fuel and tire wear as realistic as possible. So as much as it's a virtual game, yes, it's still a game, but the game can be realistic to match the settings.
Right.
I'm free to hear Brandon answer here.
Yeah, Brandon. What do you think?
A long race for me is anything after 10 minutes. Anything after 10 minutes long.
Would you like to see more races go a little bit more into the endurance category?
For sure, definitely, because that doesn't show the endurance category. It doesn't only follow your consistent driving skills and your fast lap times. You'd have to come into you using your brain, thinking, okay, how I'm going to execute this to gain a position in the pits. So it comes down to strategy and how your driving style is.
Yeah,
That
agreed.
sounds good.
It will have to be something that'll test you. These sprints are really test you that hard, and it's come down to overall pace and consistency, because nothing is more important. You're doing 159s, you need to do 159s 15 times, that kind of thing.
Anybody in here has any other friends that is into esports of any other genre other than sim racing?
No, not on my side.
Sounds like we need to make the next step here in Trinidad and Tobago. So what do you think is our next step that we should make to start developing esports, not only sim racing, esports on a whole in Trinidad?
Well, I guess basically the same way this one started is to advertise whichever esports game it have and get sponsors on board and try to hype it up as much as possible. Is all based on the organizers. They are the ones who will determine whether it will pick up or not. And you have to go with a popular game. You can't just go with a game that nobody don't really play.
Right.
So with a popular esport game and seek the interest of other people, you know.
What is the difference? And I hear this terminology a lot. To those who don't know, it's a common argument, I should say, made in the sim racing or racing online community world. What is the difference between a simcade and a real sim?
Physics, mostly.
Okay. You lost
Yeah.
me there. With the 7K, I'm not 100% aware on
So
that.
an arcade game will be like Need for Speed, right?
Right.
Oh,
A full sim is like iRacing. So a sim kit will be a combination, a balance of the both of them. And I think Gran Turismo falls in that category. Although it's more on the,
No.
it's more on the sim side, but it has arcade elements.
It's in my heart there, boy.
Yeah,
Deeper.
is the most popular one. I don't even know. I think Gran Turismo created that genre. I don't think it have anything else in that genre actually. Although it's more of a sim, it has arcade elements. You can tell from the handling. It's just different.
Well, Gran Turismo has been around a long time, and I can tell you that pretty much most, if not 90% of all sim racers have all started in Gran Turismo and have some history in Gran Turismo. So Gran Turismo is a strong starting factor to sim racing as in a category globally. So they are great influence in sim racing. Yes, there are other people's and other game titles that have gone and tried to go way more into the simulator style, but Gran Turismo is definitely one of the founding games to create the genre. With that, I want to thank Gavin, Brandon, and Christian. It was great having you here. I want to wish luck to Christian and Gavin in this tournament that continues tomorrow. Brandon, I was so unfortunate not to have you to come and try out for this tournament. You know, I know you have your fans and they would have loved to see you compete in this one.
Yeah, this time it didn't work out for me because even if I so happened to make the qualifying, like even last night I had to work while the races were going on. So this wasn't my time. So next time, most likely.
Right.
Well, it's good to have less competition this time.
And Gavin, give us a quick thought. What do you think about the new competition in this cup we have here right now? Any comments you want to make on that one at all?
New competition is very welcome. Nobody want to have a boring competition, and it's good to have, especially Dominic. It's good to have. I'm glad he came out of like brought and made himself available and came out into this environment so that everybody knows now that you have fast guys here. You can't deny it. So it's not just the guys you used to see. It's not just the Brandons. It's not just the Andrews or the Stevens or
the aliens.
Yeah, well, I don't even consider myself or Brandon. Or and I'm sure Dominic will say the same thing. The people we usually race against or race with internationally, it makes us look like nothing.
Yeah.
You understand? We are good enough, but we have a long way to go. But yeah, I'm very happy to see Dominic in the competition, and I wish him well and his team, and I hope that he continues to be present going forward.
Well, again, thanks very much, guys. And to everybody, I hope you enjoyed this one. Good night.